Swiggity sorty, let's get that booty.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Slim Cogcast. It is I, Slim Cognito. For another week, we're going to give you a new update. We're going to be shifting the channel slightly in a different direction. We're going to take the anime reviews on a slightly different way. We're going to do a different uptake. I'm going to make them their own series and be a different video to upload every week or so. I won't say every week, but with every anime I watch, and I'm going to do them by the season, hopefully. And if not by the season, we'll just do one full video of the entire thing when I finish it. Because right now, I'm enjoying Attack on Titan, and I'm binging it to the point where I'm not only having fun with it, but I don't think I want to take up all the podcast time talking about it. Now, with that being said, we're going to jump right into what we played this week. Now, this week, we've been doing a little more work on Dandara. We've played a bit more, a little further, about 3 hours or so further in, and we fought maybe, what was it, 2 boss fights? I think it was about 2 boss fights. Really, technically 1 and 1 mini boss, because it wasn't really a boss fight, but we did about 2 boss fights, and it still feels like it's missing some more. But I'm still enjoying it myself. I'm kind of stuck. I'm not exactly sure where to go or what to do in the game, but I'm pretty sure we'll figure it out on the next stream. Hopefully you'll catch it. You can by looking at the links in the description. And what else did I play, actually? That's a good question. I started a game of Vampire the Masquerade and Bloodlines. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. That is a long name. But yeah, I started that. I think I went with the Malkavian race, and I think I'm more like focused toward combat strength rather than stealth and social, which is very interesting. I kind of want to do a social playthrough, you know what I mean? But I'm not sure exactly if this game aged or was built well enough back then to like warrant that type of playthrough, since I gotta have some type of attack stats, you know what I mean? I don't know really what the game wants or demands from me right now, so I'm just going for the attack stats to make sure that I don't get like hard locked at a certain place, like in an area of enemies or a boss fight that I just cannot defeat. So yeah, I think that's all I've started this week in terms of just like, you know, games seriously played. I think that's the whole gist of what I've been fooling around with this week, because like I say, this week has been kind of weird. I don't know what's been going on with me, but I've been having the most like to and fro kind of mood. It's like real somber yet neutral. It's like right there smack dab perfectly in the middle between a heavy anxiety attack and bliss, and I'm just straddling that fence real hard. But I can't really recall what else I've played though, so I'm gonna put those two on the table and just let it be known that it was a great time. Another reason why that we didn't play too many different games is because Apex was on its last days of rank season. I believe this here season of Apex is actually coming to an end today, or tonight rather. So we'll have the new season rolling in with the new guy, Forge, I think his name is, with a new gun, a repeater rifle, and a new King's Canyon. So it's going to be great. They're going to have legendary magazines, which basically reloads for you on a brief delay, but you don't have to actually reload, and that's insane. On something like, say, a Spitfire or a Devotion or even a Havoc would be insane with that. Oh my god, it's for every weapon. It's OP for all of it. On a 99, on a 301, if I didn't have to stop shooting my 301, you know how many people I could kill? At least two. So yeah, this is gonna be interesting. It's gonna really shake up the meta like crazy. They're adjusting the hitbox for Wraith again, making it a little bigger, which is great, because if you play her, you feel cheap, and if you play against her, you feel cheated. Hell, I might as well go down let's go down the freaking patch notes. They dropped today. Might as well, right? All right. Patch notes for the Apex new season is as thus. Rampart is getting a new a wider anger. Why can't I talk? The angle that Rampart can use her turret is increased, where it used to be 120 degrees or 120 degrees. Now it is 180, which is pretty good. So while the walls that her Q, the walls that she throw down at times, it takes time for it to fully build. But the HP for them used to be 1 HP if they're building, but now it's 45, and you can still pierce through with sniper rounds. Horizon's gravity lift effective cooldown is increased, which is kind of fair. And the 15-second countdown timer, cooldown timer, will now start when the gravity lift disappears rather than the moment after she throws it. So yeah, that made it. I guess they had to nerf her a bit. It's not too strange. Octane Launchpad Remastered. Many players may have known about Octane's super jump that was possible with a well-timed jump while hitting the pad. Once the double jump option was introduced, there was an input clash that led to unreliable usage. We decided to add some launch options that are better defined than the old super jump. Hitting the jump pad from a standing position will launch players along a high arc, the speed and trajectory of the old super jump. From a crouched position, players will launch along a low arc, meaning they'll fly lower but farther in the horizontal direction. I love that. I love that to pieces, because I always slide into my jump pads. And distance is really what I want more than verticality, unless that's the objective. But now that I know that it's possible to get good verticality with it, then yeah, I might use it for that sense. Maybe. But having to set up jumping on it just to get... it's a bit too much sometimes. But hey, moving on. Crypto. Remove ability to stick arc stars to friendly drones. Makes sense. Loba. Loot inside unopened care packages is now visible with eye for quality and accessible through the black market boutique. So yeah, makes sense. All gas now dissipates as soon as Caustic's team is eliminated. Thank you. I can't tell you how many times that I've still been screwed over because of Caustic that we just died and we just killed and thirsted him. We just died him. We just killed and downed and thirsted him. Completely dead, but yet his gas is lingering and it's giving us a disadvantage, or it killed me after the fact. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if it's another team coming, you don't need the gas sitting around making it worse for you. You need it gone so you can heal and get back in the fight. And I have actually lost a game from a Caustic by being killed by a Caustic's gas after I've already killed the Caustic. Seconds later. But the gas was still lingering. It was right there on the edge, and it was just enough to take that 1 HP left. Cost the whole team the game. So, anywho's, moving on. Mirage decoys create footstep sounds now. This change was mistakenly mentioned in the Fight Night patch notes when it was in fact coming with this patch. Mirage decoys will now have footsteps audio in a limited capacity. There won't be a footstep tornado if an enemy Mirage ults nearby, but it should be slightly harder to pick out the real Mirage from audio cues alone. Weapons. Let's talk weapons. Alright, so fully kitted rotation. They removed the Wingman, the Sentinel, the Havoc, the G7, and the Alternator. And now we have the fully kitted gold R301, the 3030 repeater, the Mozambique, the Longbow DMR, and the Spitfire. The attachments, they are removing the gold barrel from the loot pool. Hop-ups, the double tap hop-up will be removed from the loot pool, as well as the anvil rounds hop-up. So that's the end for those, which makes sense because who really uses them? Like, I mean, who really uses them? Anyway, Volt, bullet damage is decreased from 16 to 15. Alternator damage increased from 15 to 16. Spitfire damage increased from 18 to 19, and reload speed increased by 2.8 seconds from 3.2. Empty reload speed increased from 3.33 seconds to 3.8. The EVA 8 fire rate increased from 2.0 to 2.1, and then the rest of those are all bug fixes. So yeah, let's see. Clubs re-enabled ability to invite friends to clubs from friend list. Fixed the issue causes some users blah 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 blah. Players will no longer be kicked from clubs when switching to another profile on Xbox. Blah 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 blah. Fix an issue with crowds not cheering in Pathfinder's Town Takeover. Blah 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 blah. And ranked play. A new ranked series will begin to start season 8. Ranked series 7. The first split will take place in Kings Canyon and run until March 23rd. The second split will be on Olympus, No World's Edge, and ranked play. So that's kind of gonna hurt, but I guess I can deal with Kings Canyon since they're giving it a new makeover. But we'll see what turns out. Full rank play changes can be seen here. Earn replacement RP earlier in a match. The RP rewards begin at placement 13 instead of placement 10 in a match. Makes a lot of sense, and that's way more fair. Kill assist count can be raised to 6. And assist threshold increased to 10 seconds. Predator has been increased to the top 750 players, allowing more players to enter Predator. Should improve queue times while remaining an exclusive tier for the highest levels of play. Matchmaking tightening. Players below Diamond will matchmake more often within their own ranks. Skydive Trails return Season 8. Diamond Skydive Trails will be making a return as a rank reward. So that's pretty much the whole patch notes laid down for Apex Legends. Jump into the news. Let's get this going. Let's keep the train moving while it's moving. Alright. Over on OC3D.net, aka Overclock3D.net, we have an article over here written by Mark Campbell saying that the Epic Games Store will continue to deliver free games every week in 2021. For those who have not gotten on this yet, you need to get on it. You should have been on it. Epic Games Store for PC gives away a free game every week on the dot, and they've given away some greats and they've given away a lot of stinkers, but it's free games. You can't really go wrong. So even the mediocre ones still are enjoyable because you didn't pay for it. But I jumped in when they gave away GTA 5 like last year. And I highly recommend anybody else, if you are on PC, to do the same. You don't even have to have the most souped up PC. They give away games of all different system requirements and levels. Next on the docket is over on GameDebate.com. Konami affirms they are still making games, will not sell their beloved IPs, aka intellectual properties. Written by Neil Soter, if I pronounced that correctly, Konami recently stated in an investor's announcement that they will be dissolving their internal development team, sparking anticipation online that they may be selling some of their beloved IPs like Metal Gear Solid, Silent Hill, and etc. But Konami has just affirmed that they are continuing to make games despite the dissolved production teams. So, to give you the quick rundown on this, basically last week we reported on it because some of their websites and other paperwork had alluded to the fact that they were not only moving some things around with positions and departments, but also it seemed like they weren't really putting much into their gaming aspect, which makes sense. They really stopped publishing games. But Konami's been acting strange, and we'll have to see what they do from here. It'd be great if they would get back into it, but after losing Hideo Kojima, it really hurts. Pretty much they went together like bread and butter. But I digress. Moving on. Basically, they're not selling their IPs, but they need to start doing something with them that is a good move and a great decision and not something foolish. Again, Konami. All right. Next over on PC Games In. All right. Right back to Apex Legends. We was talking about Apex Season 8, and it hit its new concurrent player record. I just put this here so I can just make it known that this player record is not something... It's not only is it Season 8 hype, but on the last day of ranked in any competitive game, the last week really, you're going to see a spike in players because everybody waits to the last week or the last minute of a ranked mode deadline or season deadline or battle pass deadline, and they try their best to fill out the battle pass at the last minute. So that's where the majority of people are doing right now. If you queue up for rank now, I tried to go ahead and jump up to gold rank real quick before the season was over, but every time I queue up is somebody that's terrible, don't know how to play the character that they've chosen, and they can't even aim because they sat in these lobbies and just walked around on the map looting and farming points. You can't just farm RP, because when you actually get to that level that all the RP will take you to, and you're expected to be able to perform in order to defeat these other people, you're going to lose, and they are dead weight on my team for the most part. Because when a fight actually goes down, you have to be ready, but they would rather run away, sit down, hide, and all these other things. That's not Apex, right? Anywho's, let's not get into a rant. Next, Warner Brothers filed a patent for the Mordor game's Nemesis system over on PCGamer.com. Nemesis system patent was first filed in 2015. For those that don't recall, They were trying to patent this system because not only was it innovative and something new and fresh, but very enjoyable. I enjoyed it myself in the Shadow of Mordor. What was it? The sequel, the second one. It was a very good game. And the Nemesis system itself, I don't feel like it should be patented. I feel like it's something that should be not exactly so accepted that it becomes a gaming norm and a gaming trope that's just worn to death, you know what I mean? But it's a very good one. Now, this is very reminiscent of a lawsuit from back then that Sega had, and it was mentioned in the article about Crazy Taxi and having the arrow guide you to where you need to go next and navigate you to where to drive. And that arrow used to be used in a lot of games back then, bro. Like a lot of racing games and even games that had light racing mechanics in it as a secondary thing used an arrow to direct the player to where they want them to drive. But they wanted to patent, somebody wanted to patent and say that they owned that entire area, that owned that whole aspect of game design. I don't blame them though. They got to get their money somehow. Anywho's, they said that it's on the table and it looked like it's past the correct hands and it just might become an official patent, but we'll see. Amazon is reportedly spending nearly $500 million a year on its video game division, which is next on the topic over at gamesindustry.biz, one of our favorite websites. Article written by Ethan Van Allen. Amazon's video game division has been struggling to get off the ground, and a report from Bloomberg indicates just how much has been spent trying to make it happen. Two sources familiar with Amazon's budget told Bloomberg that the tech giant is spending nearly $500 million a year operating the video game division. Okay, $500 million a year. They've already purchased Double Helix, the people who did Killer Instinct remake and some other game, but not Instinct remake, but yeah, the latest Killer Instinct for Xbox, the exclusive, which is amazing. Personally, I have to wonder where the 500 mil is going because I know they got one MMO that's supposed to be slated to come out that they did try to release this past summer 2020, but the MMO was in a very bad shape and it had bad reception, so they decided to can the release and it's in the beta, and they were going to put it back into development. Their plan to launch it now is a window for this spring in 2021. We'll have to see how that turns out. But Amazon is they're trying their best in the past, say, 3 to 5 years to throw their hat in the ring when it comes to the video game industry. They really want to be a part of that and grab a piece of that money pie. And there's room for a lot of people, but I'm not exactly sure if Jeff Bezos should be in it. But we'll see. If they're giving people jobs like these people from Double Helix and these Far Cry and other developers who've worked for these previous companies, if they're able to eat and get paid, then why not support it, I suppose. It's just something in the hopes that it doesn't go the way of Electronic Arts and just poach new companies and have them work under them until they fail, go under, and then just take all their IPs for their own. So we'll just have to see. Anyway, next over on comicbook.com, Bayonetta 3 creator implores fans to forget about the Nintendo Switch game for now. This is pretty much in line with what we've reported on about 2 to 3 weeks ago, where Hideki Kamiya, one of my favorite developers ever, urged everybody to just forget about the game for now, so that way it can be a treat for you if they drop a surprise trailer. So just don't think about it. Because one of the biggest things that you would like, Bayonetta 3 has a lot of hype around it, but we don't want it to end up like Cyberpunk, because when you put things that high on a pedestal, sometimes it just can't deliver. Final Fantasy 15, Duke Nukem Forever, okay, all of the Cyberpunk 2077. All three of these games had long waits from announcement to development until release, huge gaps of years. And they never lived up to it because it took too long for the game to get here. It was held to too high of a regard. And it tarnished the image of the game in social media. And once enough people say that a game is trash, people who hadn't touched it are going to start believing that it's trash and telling other people it's trash even though they didn't touch it. Because that's how gaming and everything goes. People don't know, they just repeat what they're told. So you got to play that game very carefully when it comes to releasing a new title. Especially when it's a title that's a female main character and all this other social stuff that could be mountains of drama. He just wants y'all to just enjoy the game and wait for it to come and don't look toward it. You know what I mean? And that makes a lot of sense. One of the greatest things before the internet boom in the games industry was that E3 was more fun then, because there was no online leaks on the latest news, and there was no pictures taken with phones in low quality of games that's been shipped in, or all these different things. And so when you watch E3 back then without internet, everything that they're showing you is new, fresh, and amazing and breathtaking. Now, it's just another trailer that they're going to use to get me to buy something and some microtransactions. And now everybody's jaded on that. But rant over. Next thing on the docket, and lastly, as a matter of fact, over on Destructoid, a very big thing that I wanted to discuss, and that's why it is the last one on the docket. We're going to get down to it because this is by CJ Andreessen, or Andreessen. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but moving on. Amazon Luna is a stunning example of why data caps suck, and this is something that needs to be known. This whole article, I will just summarize and paraphrase for you that he basically has tried out the Amazon Luna service, and it was very great. He said he had minor issues. He only had like one slowdown or stutter while playing Control, and all of this given is him using this feature on a Mac and being directly connected to his router via Ethernet. So we'll just have to see. But honestly, the cloud gaming thing, they really are trying to push this technology, and it's never gonna work. But one of the biggest hurdles to get us to cloud gaming is data caps and ISPs being greedy with it. Okay, there's no reason why in 2021 or even back in 2015 that people have to pay for their internet services by the terabyte. That's incredibly insane. You have no idea how much data persons need for 30 days that you have purchased. This access should be something of a service that gives you access to it in those 30 days with no limitations. But internet service providers, they're very, cagey when it comes to getting their demographic and their audience, to the point where they go out of their way to collude with other internet service providers and make sure that they can have complete monopoly in a certain area or neighborhood. I got a friend right now that lives in Vegas, and the only ISP that's available is Cox Cable, and they refuse to give him any other options for his internet service. And that is a terrible thing to have going on. So in healthy in healthy American business practice, you have to always prevent a monopoly. But at times, people make workarounds because not every rule book is foolproof. So yes, this is a huge problem in the coming days, especially with 5G being upon us and games being bigger, game patches being bigger, and gigabytes becoming the new megabyte. We're going to have to do away with data caps in the future. It has to go away. There's no turning back from it, and there's nothing else that we can do about it. It's going to be more and more demanding as it goes on. Now, that is everything on the docket. Please remember to keep a lookout on twitch.tv/SlimCognito Entertainment so we can continue Dandara. We're going to do our best to finish it off. Most likely in the next stream we'll be able to beat that game, and be on the lookout for the anime wrap-up once I finish Attack on Titan Season 2. There will be a separate video. We're doing a different format from here on. Our anime reviews will be separate videos, and from here on, we'll try to keep the podcast as does, like I said, under 30 minutes. So here we are. We're trying to streamline, make things simpler so we can produce more content. In the meantime, y'all take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and please stay safe. We are still in a panoramic, so look after yourself. And at the end of the day, I got to ask you, if you like the content, go ahead and give me a like. And if you have some suggestions or things that you would like to see on the channel, go ahead and leave something in the comments and let me know. Or you can go on over to my Twitter and follow me at SlimCognito Mode to just see some of the stupid stuff that I tweet. And yeah, so without further ado, y'all take care of yourselves, and always remember the channel motto: intentions are the most important, actions ain't nothing but loud, and words don't mean a damn thing. Peace.
My name's Rise, cause I'm about to rise and shine your ass.
No.
Ha! First bleed.
What?
First blade.
Don't do that. Fuck off. You always do that shit, bro.
Nigga, I'm gonna try to take your kill.